pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome to our March 19th, 2019 meeting. Our first item on our agenda, please note Ms. Solis is absent. We have items from council. Council, go ahead.
One, I would just request, and I think we talked about it, if we could have that presentation of the proposed street bond coming up in 3 or 4 years again.
I know we talked about doing that at later in the year. Are you talking about when we start paying debt down?
Yes, ma'am, that
We
one.
talked about waiting, and of course, council can change that, waiting till the new, you've got the new mayor on board and those new council members seated, and trying to do that sometime during the summer. But we can do it ahead of time if you want to.
I'd like to do it at the next meeting if possible.
Oh,
Just
sure,
a
I
quick
mean-
overview over it.
Yeah, no, Gilbert's keeps it updated, so be glad to. And two, when you talk about your CPI discussion, CPI is tentatively scheduled for the first meeting in May. But later in the year, you will have to start making some decisions about as that debt pays off, how you want to expend the new revenue, so.
Thank you.
I think we could talk about it often. I was curious as to why. You just want to get it out in the
I
public
think it's
more?
great with all the races going on for council and mayor.
Okay.
I think it's appropriate and make sure everybody
education, the
knows
better.
that there is a plan out there and
Yeah, I
we all
like it.
want roads fixed.
I think it's good for the citizens because I'm constantly reminding the citizens of it. They don't have the time to, the ones, they don't always watch these meetings and they're not aware of it. So CIP is all the time, so, and that is going to be a really, hopefully, if everything comes to pass, Donald will be very busy in those years, managing a lot of contracts.
Gilbert's raising his hand.
So,
Maybe that'd be good. Maybe we should just show them the 6 binders I got in a cardboard box in the back of my car about all the planning we do.
yeah.
We'll be glad to recycle those binders if you want us to.
Knock yourself out.
Jan, did you have?
No, that's fine.
I have one item.
I think, Gilbert, do you want to say something?
Yeah, since I'm happy to bring that item back to council. I just want to make it clear, you want us to show you the debt capacity, what's going to be available at certain years. And do you want to see how that money's going to be used on the various different streets or just what's available? I'll make clear
What's
presentation.
available, I don't think needs to say exactly which projects
Okay.
when
I
and
just wanna make
everything, but just that what we're looking at and how we plan to go forward in the future, trying to fix some major wholesale sections of roads.
Good deal. Nothing else? So the chief has something he would like to share with us, so I'll turn it
Are
over
you
to
going to
him.
talk about your basketball game on Friday?
We're going to talk, we have a benefit basketball game on Friday, but that's not why we're here. We can talk about that later. But Mayor and members of council, Ms. Garrett, thank you. We recently held our annual award ceremony, and after 28 years, we learned something new about Ms. Garrett. She's extremely sneaky. Poof, all of a sudden, she disappeared. And she got away before we can give out the most important award. And it's very important to our members that we make this presentation as an award. And the mayor has graciously allowed us this opportunity to do this. And we armed the door with Maria back there. She's armed. It doesn't look like it, but she's armed. And anyway, our members are here to make this presentation. The Victoria Fire Department has had many accomplishments over the past 28 years. And every member, past and present, would agree that those accomplishments would not have been possible without Ms. Garrett. She's been by our side through thick and thin, through the highs and lows, and helped us achieve all those accomplishments. And we're so fortunate she was by our side for those past 28 years. And this is why we're honored to present Ms. Garrett with the Victoria Fire Department Life Service Award for her 28 years of unwavering support and leadership. So we just wanted to all be here and tell you thank you, and we love you and appreciate everything you've done for us over the past 28 years.
Well, you've done something a lot of people can't do.
So we're all coming up to give you this award.
Give you a hug.
Mr. Hartman, how are you? Mr. Hartman? All right. When I count to zero, everybody keep your eyes open at zero. Open. 3, 2, 1. 0. One more. 3, 2.
What a shock.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Thank you for that time. Thank you, Ms. Garrett.
And I'd be remiss not to say thank you very much, but it's been a privilege working with you guys and the dedication you have for the community. It's absolutely amazing, and I've enjoyed watching the progress through the years and the transitions that y'all have done, so thank you. And you are sneaky too, though.
Okay, no further items from council. We'll move into citizens' communications. If anybody here would like to talk about anything at all, now would be the time. Okay. Let them file out the back there. All right, seeing no one get up, we'll close citizens' communications. And we have one ordinance. This has a public hearing with it, correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Item C1 is an ordinance amending fiscal year 2018-2019 City of Victoria Water Wastewater Fund budget to provide funding for the purchase and installation of a standby generator for the surface water treatment plant in the amount of $595,619, providing for savings and declaring an effective date.
So we'll open the public hearing on C1. If anyone would like to speak to that one item, now would be the time. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve item C1.
Now second.
So we have a motion, a second. Is there discussion? I have one question. I just have to ask. And Gilbert is aware of it, but explain the vehicle overage that you're able, and I'm glad we're going to put that money to good use, but how did that happen?
Yeah, Mayor, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't want to put the whole thing in the CM1. Actually, simple answer, it's, I guess you'd call it my error. What happened was this. As you recall, we did that service study last year with,
The rate
water
study?
fund for the 5 years. I already had a budget established, just in case something happens with this project, right? So at least we can move forward and the timing still goes with the budget. Well, we had the discussion, it was approved by council. My error was that we already had some vehicles listed on the 5-year service study projection. I took those numbers and added on top of the other ones that were in there already. Does that make sense? So I failed to double check if we were buying the same vehicle twice. Second, another thing to note, if we didn't have that money there, I would have to come back tonight and amend the whole $900,000 instead of $595,000. So now if you're wondering, okay, was this in the rates? And I'm open about transparency. Yes, it incorporated into the rates. I took a quick guess and I found out the same time as I was looking for money for the $900,000. That's how I found out. I went back and I said, okay, why did we have this overage? And of course, I found what happened. But from the rate side, you're looking anywhere from 45 to 50 cents effect. But again, for the next 3 or 4 years, we're not going to have a rate increase based on the study. So hopefully that will eat up any possible inflation, payroll, whatever the case might be. So that's the long answer. I gave you the short answer already. That's the long explanation.
That's good, and I appreciate that. I don't have any problem with, because it's not being wasted. Obviously, we need the
Not
generator.
on this project.
Assuming if we vote to approve it, which I think we will, but,
And
okay.
keep in mind too, Council, I might add, This is not the only one we're looking at. There's two other ones we'd like to get to down
Right,
the road.
right. It's in the
Generators.
contract, 2 other generators. Okay,
But those will be funded differently, right?
That'll be out of the working capital.
and that's, we have that resolution, and I'm gonna save some comments for that part too, but
Okay.
as you might have. Okay, so just on the ordinance, moving the money around, any further questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Okay, thank you.
There are 6 items on the consent agenda tonight that will be approved by a single vote. The first is the approval of minutes of the regular meeting of March 5th, 2019. The second is a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an amendment to an agreement with ESO Solutions Incorporated for electronic patient care reporting and National Fire Incident Reporting software and support in an estimated amount of $27,325 and declaring an effective date. The third is an ordinance amending Chapter 15 of the Victoria City Code to update and revise alarm system content for compliance and relevance and add a false alarm fine schedule, repealing all conflicting ordinances and providing for enforcement, codification, publication, and savings, and declaring an effective date. Excuse me. The fourth is a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a renewal of the annual supply contract for limestone base with CMEX Construction Materials South LLC in the amount of $22.63 per ton for a total of approximately $181,040 based on an estimated annual quantity of 8,000 tons and declaring an effective date. The fifth is a resolution awarding the fiscal year 2019 Rehabilitation Seal Coat Project to Brannon Paving Company Limited for their low bid of $1,735,288, authorizing the city manager to execute all documents necessary to complete the project and declaring an effective date. And the sixth is a resolution awarding the Navarro Street Utility Improvements Project to J&R Contracting Services Incorporated for their low bid of $993,270, authorizing the city manager to execute all documents necessary to complete the project and declaring an effective date.
I move we accept the consent agenda.
A second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, the same. Okay, thank you.
Item E1 is a resolution appointing 2 new members to the Building and Standards Commission and declaring an effective date. Mayor and council, before we get a motion on that resolution, we do need to fill in the 2 blanks in that resolution. I believe there are 3 applicants, and so I have ballots prepared for tonight as we have done in the past. I will pass around ballots and ask you to put your name at the top of the ballot, as well as put a big number 1 at the top. And Mayor, I have a question before everyone gets started. Would you like to do the nominations individually one at a time, or would you like to have people circle 2 names and then us just do it all at the same time?
What's easier?
2 names and do it all at the same
Okay,
time?
yeah.
Okay.
I know sometimes that's caused confusion, but
It has
do you
in
want
the
us to
past.
pick a primary and secondary or just
I think you
2?
just circle 2 names.
All right.
Put your name at the top, put a big number 1, and circle 2 names, and then you can pass them back to me. City Secretary and I will tally the results.
One of us gets to vote twice.
I'm sorry, did I pass too many ballots down? I must have been counting Charmel.
That's mine, I do. No.
Just have one question. Does the applicant have to be a resident of the city of Victoria?
No, we researched it, and there's nothing in the bylaws that state that. I checked
Okay.
with Development
Thank you.
Services.
Which one is
They
Donna?
prefer a
Who's
city,
not
but
a
if not
resident?
county.
Thank you. I
Oh, I
had that
see.
same question.
Huh. So current members, Frank Reyes, Robert Brooks, Eric Mercer, Sherry Strickland, and Victor Marshall will continue, right? Yeah, well, I appreciate their service. They may, I don't know if they hear that much, but all those little boards and commissions, in which I know some of us up here have done, many of them are very beneficial to our community. So I hope a big thank you to those guys.
You know, as they're tallying votes too, just recognition to Mr. McCoy for all his years of service on that committee. He led it and did a great job for the city. I don't know how many years, but I know it was a bunch. But always did a great job I know the staff appreciated his due diligence.
I want to remind the public, as I always do, and I forgot to do this time, that the city council does not have secret ballots. These are available. They will be on file in the city secretary in case anybody wants to look. We just do this for convenience purposes. And the two names that received the most votes are Craig Logger and Dean Shahula. And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that last name. With my name, I should be sensitive to that, but
I think it's Shalala,
Shalala,
but
thank you.
I may be wrong too.
All right, so those two names will get put into that resolution. And Mayor and Council, I'll entertain a motion for that.
Right. Motion?
I move to approve item E2 with the names Craig Logger and Dean Rayburn filled in there.
You didn't say that last.
Oh, it's Sahula, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I know him as Dean Rayburn.
That was it.
I was about to say Rayburn.
Need a second.
I second.
Okay, we have motion and second. No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Okay, ayes have it. E2.
E2 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with the Victoria County Elections Administrator to provide services to administer city elections and declaring an effective date.
Move to accept or to approve item E2.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any questions?
I have a picky little question. Why did we have to do this? Is it, it seems like it should be
I was
The
just talking about the
posi-
contract.
the position, but it seems to be, according to this, it's individual.
When we drafted the contract initially, I included her name. And when that position changed, it just caught us kind of unawares. And so we had to go back and actually revise the contract. And the revised contract actually says that the county elections administrator will administer these services. So we've removed the name that'll simplify that going forward, but it did catch us off guard this time.
Okay, that's what I did, because you gave us the new contract and I just assumed it was the same, so.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought maybe it was because she's an interim or something like that.
Well, and in all fairness too, it was always listed as George Matthews all the years that we had a contract with the county, was
Wow.
individually listed with him, so.
But so it can be the position.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. So we have a motion and second, I believe.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Did we vote?
Nope.
No.
yet.
Okay, I was looking at the next one, I'm sorry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Okay, ayes have it. Thank you.
Item E3 is an ordinance amending Chapter 7 of the Victoria City Code to amend procedures related to an emergency management, repealing all conflicting ordinances, providing for enforcement, publication, codification, and savings, and declaring an effective date.
Move we accept item E3. Approve, I keep saying accept tonight, but approve.
Mayor and council, I've put in front of each of you a document that has at the top the letter E3 that has 3 requested amendments that are procedurally cleanups. A couple of recommendations from Rick McBrayer, the Emergency Management Coordinator, that would clarify the scope of the emergency management plan and would change the terminology of the joint combined emergency management program to align with the terminology used in state law. And then third, to clarify that the director and the coordinator, as they are used within this chapter, refer to the emergency management director and the emergency management coordinator. And if I could get a motion to approve those 3 changes, I'd appreciate it.
I make that motion to approve those 3 amendments presented.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and second to amend, and everyone has a copy of it. Is there any questions about any of this? It's pretty straight,
I also shared a copy of that with the media who's here tonight, so that
Okay.
she has the exact language.
pretty straightforward. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Okay, so the amendment passes. Any further discussion on the ordinance as amended? Nope. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Okay. E4.
E4 is a resolution ratifying the city manager's execution of a contract with Main Lane Industries Limited for the Airline Road Emergency Sanitary Sewer Line Replacement in the amount of $200,000, approving additional related expenditures necessary to complete the repair in the amount of $54,846.27, for a total of $254,846.27, and declaring an effective date.
I move to approve item E4.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. So $254,000. It's just amazing, isn't it? You don't have to, I don't have a question, just, 200 feet, 19-foot depth, 24-inch concrete sanitary sewer for just 200 feet. Of course, it'd be cheaper if it wasn't so deep, I suppose, but
Right.
things are expensive. No further comment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Okay, ayes have it. E5.
E5 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract for the purchase and installation of a 1,250-watt standby diesel generator for the surface water treatment plant from Power Secure Incorporated in the amount of $928,619 and declaring an effective date.
Make a motion to approve E5?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Does anybody have discussion or questions?
We just happen to have that exact amount in our budget
Not exactly, but
because of the,
Amendments.
because of
C1.
the budget item before.
yeah.
That's what I mean.
No, some things of note, to me, it's interesting, as Mr. Halapascal always uses his clever term, the glacial speed of government. We remember the council, at some point, I think we decided not to wait for federal funds. It's been almost 2 years and run the risk of going ahead and doing this without possibility of reimbursement. And it doesn't look like we can get reimbursed. It's to me, extremely aggravating and unfortunate. I was in the room with the governor when he said, I think the words he said were the checks are gonna start flying. They ain't flown down here. So we didn't want to, as a group, didn't want to take the risk, and this is for the public, to not have that generator in place in case another hurricane came. So here we are, spending that money to do that. Of course, there's 2 more generators in this contract, and perhaps council will wait and be able to put those in place when using other funds, I hope. So it's just annoying to me and I don't know that most people fully appreciate that, the fact that we have to do that. Here it is 2019 and we still don't have.
Feel like we get punished to do the right things?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Preparedness?
But, I wish that certain things would be reimbursable. I wish they would trust us to say, you know what, we do know what we need here locally and we did do the right thing with this. But that's for another day. Just wanted to say my piece.
Well, and I know Gilbert and Wesley are constantly keeping an eye out. So if this is something that we'll be able to submit for reimbursement, they will do that.
That would be awesome.
So,
Yeah, you're correct. I just want to add one more other comment. We are spending $928,000 on this project. But keep in mind, part of this project, and John can allude to it more better in detail than I can, that we're planning to get into the ERCOT program for reimbursement, come online with the generator and use and sell off the electricity at a broker. So that would be helpful over the years to mitigate this cost. But it's going to take at least 10 years to get that to a point. So there are some revenue streams here, but we got to get it up in place, get it permitted and everything else. So I'm still hopefully we can get you some of that money to offset some of these costs.
Okay, it'd be really awesome to get it reimbursed at some point, although I'm doubtful based on all my conversations with people. I know Donald would love to get reimbursed for his fund. I was curious about one thing. I don't want to belabor the conversation, but one thing, the diesel storage tank is, I think, enough for 24 hours. It seemed like that wouldn't be enough. I just was wondering about that. You okay with that? Do y'all run it periodically?
Well, the diesel storage tank, you're right, is 24 hours, but keep in mind that that's at the peak load, so that's the highest load that we've had out there at any given time. During a hurricane or a major event like that, we won't even come close to using that peak. So I would anticipate that being more like a 48 hour tank than a 24.
Yeah, 48 hours, okay.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't
it's
even
a
go
lot-
longer if I could, but then
Well,
that's a
it's-
lot of storage of diesel, I
It's a
know.
lot easier to get a fuel truck to the surface water treatment plant than it is out to that raw water where we put the 3-day tank at. And again,
Where the anthill is?
yeah, the 3-day tank is the same situation. We believe we'll get more like 6 days out of that because it was rated at peak also.
6 days?
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, I know just buying diesel to sit in a tank is one thing we don't want to do, but
Right.
if you had a larger tank that you didn't have to keep it full, you
No,
could
we-
fill it
we-
up in anticipation.
We do not keep it full. We keep
Yeah.
some in there enough to run it, and then we try to rotate that fuel out.
Okay. I mean,
and two, don't forget, during our emergency planning phase. When the hurricane gets at a certain point,
Yeah.
we fill all of our
Yep.
fuel tanks up,
ma'am.
you know, that happen. We've got a process in place to do all that, so.
Yes.
And then we've got contracts with fuel companies to provide us fuel.
I had to laugh. I had, Charmel and Mr. Gush and I met in Gilbert with AEP. They like to come by every year too, a couple of their officers, and we talked to them the other day. And it came up about the plant. They couldn't believe, also, you know, that plant was designed to be serviced electricity by two separate legs. And they were just shaking their heads. They couldn't believe that both those went down during that storm, you know, and it happened. So it was just kind of an interesting conversation with them. But
Just a clarification, because people do watch this and.
Sure.
And don't necessarily have the benefit of reading what we have. I think I heard you say there were two other generators in this contract, but I think you meant there were two other generators in this bid, but those are going to be handled at a
Later.
later time. We're
Yes.
just buying one generator at this point. And I just wanted to make sure people listening, if they're still watching,
right. Well,
got
thank you.
that point.
Right, the other one is the GBRA plant, the regional plant out on highway, on the loop is what I call it. And then the water plant over on, Laurent there, North Bend, Jordan. So,
Water plant number 3.
number 3, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
That we're not dealing with those right now.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Thank
We
you.
have plans in place, but we're not dealing with them on this contract. No, ma'am.
we don't have a money tree, so,
But we do have contracts in place that we can
Yeah.
get generators in when we need them in for those plants.
Just to remind council, you know, we just did a $1.4 million for this water sewer line at TxDOT,
The frontage roads.
that was the money for the generators.
the ones we moved out on the loop?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, moved out because we were forced to,
we amended the budget.
yeah. Okay, no further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same, okay, ayes have it.
Thank you.
So we just have an executive session left,
Sir,
and we'll meet in here.
sounds good. The city council will recess for executive session on the 19th day of March 2019 at 5:27 PM. The subject matter of the executive session deliberation is as follows. Texas Government Code Section 551.072 to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property interests due to the fact that a deliberation in an open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the position of the city in negotiations with a third party, including but not limited to discussions of the Ben Wilson corridor at UHV. Thanks.